Oscar Leeser was the 53rd mayor of El Paso from 2013 to 2017. He's running to try to get his job back. He won the majority of the vote, but he and the current mayor, DeMargo, will go into a runoff to get voters' final approval of who will lead the city for the next 4 years.
Well, we're all created equal.
Before we began our conversation, we made sure we were properly distanced. I kept my mask on, and staff made sure no one came near Oscar Leeser during the interview. I asked the former mayor if he believes the city is headed in the right direction during the pandemic.
75% of the people went out to the polls back November 3rd and said, hey, we want to change. We feel very unsafe, and we are. We're one of the worst cities in the world today.
Many El Pasoans told ABC7 they were confused over city and county policy when County Judge Ricardo Samaniego ordered a shutdown. Margo made it evident there was a rift between the two, disagreed against the shutdown order, and even told the public communications between the two had broken down. That shutdown was eventually reversed by the state 8th Court of Appeals. Mr. Leeser, what would you do differently?
We need to work together. We need to talk to our congresswoman. We need that federal funding. You know, we need that PPP money, which is payroll protection plan that looks like they're going to roll out a second form of it, and make sure that it goes to the right people.
Margo and the city health department director announced preparations are being made for the eventual arrival of vaccines to fight this invisible killer. Leeser is highly critical of the mayor's plan, which includes buying several downtown buildings with CARES Act dollars. Those buildings will be used as part of preparations before the vaccine arrives.
How do you go out buy 5 buildings when you could go out and take care of hundreds of businesses out there, restaurants, hairdressers, people that need the help, that are losing their livelihood, they're losing their homes because they cannot make payment, but yet we're buying buildings for them.
Leeser says the Medical School of the Americas offered to help distribute the vaccine once it arrives, which he adds is more cost-effective than buying buildings. More than 900 lives have perished at the hands of COVID-19.
He's such a good boy.
One of those is Leeser's own mother, Roberta Leeser, who died at age 90. Before we even started the interview, I offered my condolences. This has touched you personally. Has it changed the way that you view the pandemic?
Obviously, it's very close to my heart, but
Okay.
Sure. We gave Leeser some time to regain his composure before he insisted on answering the question.
you know, there's no one that's immune to it, regardless of your income, your race, or your zip code, and we all need to understand that. And you're right, my family got impacted, but there's so many families that are getting impacted no different than I am. You look at you guys had breaking news that my mother passed away from COVID-19, and then I went on your website, and if you look at the people that said, I lost my mother the same way, Oscar, I lost my father, my mother-in-law, you know what? There's so many people that are living the same nightmare that we are because we're not being protected.
And Leeser was reluctant to say if he was in favor of a second shutdown, only saying the business community can work with elected officials to make sure the general public is safe. Leeser also criticized multiple waivers the city gave to people to hold celebrations. He says he would not do that and would instead follow CDC guidelines which restrict large gatherings. Earlier this week, ABC7 aired a similar interview with Leeser's opponent, current Mayor DeMargo. You can watch all of it on KVIA.com.